Hey there, everyone, Joe here. Welcome to day 16. Welcome to day 16 of the 30-day daily drawing challenge designed to help you build a daily drawing habit in 10 minutes or less per day. This week, I'm going to be shifting over to using markers. Now, you don't have to, because it's a little bit of there's a little bit of an entry in terms of purchasing. Maybe you don't have markers. I think you need marker paper and that kind of thing. So feel free to continue with either the pencil or pen, whichever you prefer, whatever is easiest for you, because the best tool for you to develop your sketching habit is the one you've got in your hand. Okay, here's a little bit of a primer on what you need for markers to become part of your sketching arsenal. First thing is paper. There are, at least from what I've found, there's three pretty good, decent types of paper. So you've got the one is called Canson marker paper. I think that's probably the least expensive entry. It's in a glue-bound spine, so you will need some kind of a clip to keep track of your paper because the pages fall out pretty readily. The other type is a little bit more expensive. It's Marker 360 by Bingfang, Graphics 360. What's nice about both of those types of papers is they are semi-translucent. So if you had a drawing that you wanted to, if you had a black and white drawing and you wanted to see what the color would look like, it's pretty easy to slip a piece of paper that you've drawn and then trace over it with those types of papers. I think the Graphics 360 is more transparent than the Canson marker paper, but both are going to give you pretty good results. And then the nice thing about marker paper, I should say this too, is that it doesn't absorb the ink the same way that a regular sketchbook is going to absorb the ink. So you can use a regular sketchbook if you want, but what's going to happen is it's going to bleed through the pages, so you probably will only have to be able to use every other page, and it's possible that if you don't slip a sheet in between, that it's going to bleed through and then absorb into the pages beyond. Now, if you want to use a sketchbook, the one that I recommend is Render by Crescent. And the nice thing about that is it's got a thing that they call no show-through. So you can sketch on both sides of the page. It doesn't show through. I mean, it will if you really soak an area. I mean, it's like heavy-duty soak, like way beyond the black. But that's like, I mean, you have to really, like I said, you have to really sit there and let it soak through. Like you're doing it on purpose for some reason. And then you've got the markers. I recommend, for me, at least for the blacks, I really like the Sharpie Fine Point. It gives you there's a nice thick thin that you can get with like a nice line variation that you can get. And it's a pretty good solid black. But for other markers, Copic sketch markers. They've got a lot of nice benefits. There's two tips on there, so it's got a dual tip design. There's a chisel point and a brush tip. So each one has the same thing. And there's tons of colors. They're popular so that they're available kind of in a lot of different places. And you can refill them. So if you have a marker that runs out, you can just go and get yourself some more ink, and that they've got techniques for filling them, and you're good to go. You don't have to keep buying the same thing. So it's a little bit less waste than some of the other traditional markers that are all one piece, and as soon as they're dead, you have to kind of pitch them. Okay, now if you do want to get started with markers, I recommend going with the Sharpie first. So you got the Sharpie. Then picking yourself up three different gray markers for your Copics. So I've got number 2, number 4, and number 8 neutral grays. And the thing that's nice about that is it'll get you used to using the lights and darks, but also you can use a single color. So today we're doing reptiles, so I picked the G02, the Spectrum Green. That will, I think, enhance my sketch, but it won't be it won't be really full color. But you'll get to see how layering of markers can give you some pretty decent results without spending. I think these might be like $5 or $6 a piece, these markers. So it's a collection that you want to either build it. If you're building it from scratch, start slow. So for one, let's see, you might not like it. So who wants to have an initial investment to be, really super expensive? And then I'll finish up the drawing with my, once I've done all the sketching with these markers, I'll finish up with the blacks with the Sharpie. Okay, so without further ado, let me pull up my, make sure I've got my reptile sketch, my reptile images ready to go. I've downloaded those to my phone from Google Images. And here's my timer. So here we go. Let's start the timer. Switch over to my image. Get that image set up. Now I will have to put it up above here. Hopefully it can get it to rest. Oh, hopefully it can get it to go. Rest without falling too much. And let's get started. So I'm going to start on the right side today. I noticed in my last video that there was a lot of shadowing. So I'm going to start with the number two gray. So hopefully we'll be able to see this. And I'm basically going to use it just like a pencil. So I'm going to kind of figure out what the basic shape is of the iguana that I picked. And let's see here. Kind of give it. There's a little bit of a jig-jag, and then come down through here. Now, let's see. Where's his eye? And I'm still thinking in terms of where are the lightest lights. It looks like his nose is pretty light. But we can kind of go along the edges here. I'm still trying to follow the form. So it looks like I had some of these things wrong. But that's what's great about the markers too. And you can kind of see a little bit how if I go over an area, you can go from being what's a light tone, and if I move back through it, I can get a little bit darker. So try not to, I guess what I call scumble too much, which is basically going back and forth like that, scribbling down. And I'm kind of using the chisel point here because I'm really trying to fill out that shape, kind of the base color here. Okay. Now I'm going to go pick the number 4, and I think I'm going to switch to the chisel tip. I'm going to switch to the sketch tip, the brush tip here, because then I can kind of figure out where's the eye. Let's get some. Maybe I'm starting to think about the texture of the scales. Where's his wrinkle? Where are the wrinkles? He's got his. You can make that eye in there a little bit here. And I'm not worried too much about getting all of the scales at this point. I'm really trying to figure out what are the landmarks. I'm putting some dots that's kind of representing the scale. And the thing about these kinds of sketches is it's really you're trying to get a sense of if you want to paint this, what's going to be the final image that you work with. This is these are drafts, right? So let's see how these kind of get an idea of how his scales fit together on his head. Comes down here. This is all darker. It's got a big, let's see, this is kind of a big rounded, huge scale. It seems like a scale that might have some kind of a purpose. That kind of come back through. There's a pattern. Now for this, the lightness of this frill underneath, I'm going to come through just kind of on the other side of it, and I'm going to switch over to the chisel point and really just kind of fill in. You can see how with a marker you can kind of really block in a color pretty quickly without having to go back and forth. And the other thing that's nice too is this will give you a, you can kind of start to even get a sense of, you know, where is the, what's your image going to do. It's a little bit more rounded in terms of the overall design of the square, you know, painting or whatever. Okay, let's come through real quick here. Now I'm going to go, right now I'm going to switch to that lighter color, and I think this should help give you an idea of the way you'll still be able to see those other grays for the tones. So you will still have the value will still be there, but you're going to have a better idea, better sense of, you know, what your sketch will look like with some of this extra green added. So to make it look more full color without it being full color, let's see, this lower lip has more green in it. Now my image, he definitely has a, I mean, there's like blue tones in his nose, even though this isn't a green iguana. You know, then there's some yellow tones in his, what's his ear. But you can kind of here, let's see. I want to kind of, still trying to follow the form. I'm trying not to scumble too much. Let's put some green in it up here in his. Now I'm going to come through next with kind of the final mid-tone dark shadow. Let's see, we've got some spikes here that kind of have some green. We'll just add some green up here. Okay. You'll see this is, now this is, I went from 2, 4, and then this is the number 8. Which will probably be pretty close to black. So you want to be kind of careful of be a little sparing with where you put your your lines. But you'll see that things will kind of come together. The more you add in those darks, the more you'll be able to kind of tell, you know, where things are going. Now I think you could start with the dark, but the light color, so one of the things about markers is they'll kind of absorb a little bit of the colors that are down there already. So you might need to clean off your marker in between if you start with the darks. And the best way to do that would be just to kind of, you know, rub it on the, you know, on the page, one of your blank pages, until it comes up to the colors clean. And I think I'll show that to you at the end. I'll come back through here and show you what I mean. I don't know if I want too much of that to be dark. Let's come through here. It's got kind of a speckle pattern. These folds are pretty cool, like where the wrinkles are for his shoulder. His ear here. Kind of an interesting pattern to it. But what's nice, these brush tips are pretty nice because you can really get a tiny dot and then nice control over your thicks and thins here. Okay. So there's a lot of darks in here. There's the scales that are here. A little rough here. Through with his line. And I changed where his mouth was. So I'll add that in. Through underneath. It's got a little bit of a gray pattern, so I'm going to actually switch up real quick to my number 4 and see if I can get some of these stripes in here. You'll see how some of the grays that I've got down are going to move a little bit here. So there we go. So then you'll see, it's hard to tell with the gray. Oh, there we go. I'm going to keep going until I use up the. I'm gonna put the dark Sharpie down. Oops, wrong color. I want to put the finish a couple more shapes here. So I am going to go over my 10 minutes. But if you need to stop, just feel free to stop at 10 minutes. That's perfectly fine. I want to just pop. I want to get this to pop a little bit more, and also to show you kind of what happens when you add in the Sharpie. So real quick, I'm just going to come through with a couple of lines here. Sharpie. Now you'll see kind of how it's a little bit that gray tone. Let's see here. I'm going to come through and then you kind of use the side of it. We'll come through, darken some of this back here. I am scumbling here, but it's more of a, because it's thin, you can see how I can get thin, and then there's, I can get a nice variation, but it's not super, tightened up there. Let's see here, come through, and let's give him an outline so you can kind of see him in front. There we go. Put this here. Lines up and down. There you go, markers. Day 16. Getting started. So, hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed playing around with markers. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the doobly-doo, and I'll see what I can, I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Really having fun. Thanks a lot for following along. I really appreciate it. If you've gotten this far, please be sure to give me a like. Share this with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And yeah, welcome aboard. And oh, the bell icon. Click the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Thanks a lot, everyone. I really, really, really appreciate it. Hey, if you can give somebody a reason to smile, you just might get to smile too. Thanks a lot, everybody. Love you all. Bye. Markers.